Alright, and with probably the utmost of importance, we had to finish off this tier list section of, I guess, my time every month with the best cards in the game, and we have a full list, everybody from end to end, the entire list. So if you're excited, make sure you hit that like button down below. These are going to be the best cards ranked, and that sort of stuff. It was the hardest tier list I think I've ever put together. A lot of thought had to go into this one, so it took me a little bit to put it out. So if you do enjoy or just find it nice and informative, hit that like button, please. Comment if you guys think I put anybody too high, too low, that sort of stuff. And make sure you hit that subscribe button, because we are very, very close to 10,000 subscribers. Really would mean a lot if you can do that. And without further ado, let's hear of the sponsor of today's video. And now that we got that all cooking and good, we can start off with our worst of the best tier. Now, I want to make it very, very clear that I'm calling these some of the best cards in the game. Like, maybe the best of their position, best at their tier. So, these cards being in the worst of the best still means these are really damn good cards. They just aren't necessarily, like, you know, number one. And I'm just going to show you guys everybody that we got down here in this tier, starting off with the Invincible Stephen Curry, who I think is a pretty great card, but I mean, let's be honest, he's a 6'3" PG. I don't really see too much use out of Curry, like, at all, to be honest. Not too many people really use him anymore at all, really. He can be fun, but yeah, Curry had his time, he had his shine to be out there. Chef Curry was going up. They finally did give him the quick dribble style, but I think it's a little too late for Curry to be great. He can still be fun if you like 6'3" PGs, but I mean, for me personally, no thank you. Tyrese Halliburton is a great all-around Galaxy Opal. You got the Aaron Gordon release, which is absolutely money. It is nice, it is fun, and he's a good card all around, but let's be honest, there's some better things out there. Hakeem Olajuwon is, again, a great card, but let's be honest, his jumper sucks, and that's really the only thing holding Hakeem back. I do suspect we get an Invincible Hakeem Olajuwon that will have a better jumper, because they've done it with a few other cards, so hopefully we hold out hope for that. Elgin Baylor has the Dante X base on very quick, and he is absolutely amazing. This card is an absolute god. I love him. I think he's so fun, but he's definitely the worst of the best. If they made this Elgin a PG, I think he had serious competition to be one of the best cards in the game, but putting him as a shooting guard kind of killed a lot of the momentum that he had. Dwight Howard, all 99 stats, almost every single badge. Like, he's looking absolutely amazing, but let's be honest, he's got a bad jumper, man. He's got a really bad jumper, and it definitely needs, I don't know, a bit of a boost. But I do think it's cool that we got a new Dwight Howard and we got some fun stuff out there. So you know what? I'm not too mad about it, but we could have used a better thing for him, because of the things he's supposed to be good at, you know, getting inside, dunking, finishing, you know, that sort of stuff. He is amazing. But a lot of the other stuff, there's definitely some, I guess, work to improve. We'll say that. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful, the invincible Scottie Pippen, who is, again, a really great card, a really nice card, but has a terrible jumper and jump shot 30. He has obviously amazing defense, but I mean, kind of who doesn't at this point? So it's a little bit, I guess, of a negative for Scottie out there, but he still can be a fun card. He still can be cool if you like just mainly defensive kind of guys. You know what? He can be your man. Next up is the man, the myth, the legend, Danilo Gallinari. I just love this card, man. He's got the Danilo Gallinari jump shot base on very quick, and he's 6'10". He is just so cheesy, so smooth, and just super fun to just go out there, shoot around with, have a great time with, because again, he is a 6'10" power forward, small forward, which is always great. But he definitely is on the lower end there, because there's a lot of guys who can do what he can do. Speaking of which, another one that can, Dino Raja. Jump shot 4 is obviously a pretty terrible jumper that most of us kind of hate, but on Dino, I do actually quite like it a little bit. I think it can be pretty nice if you use it correctly. So there's that. Plus, he has a 7'11" wingspan as a power forward, small forward kind of duo, and it is absolutely amazing. I think it's super fun, and a lot of people got to give more credit to this Dino because he's a beast. I absolutely love him. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Kevin Garnett, who suffers from the fact that he has a hit or miss jumper. You either love it or you hate it, and I know a lot of people that really, really hate the jumper, and that's not really going to help them too much with it, but you know, it is what it is. You know, Kevin Garnett can be cool, but that set shot 14 jumper is a pretty, I guess, controversial one that makes, I mean, at least me put Kevin Garnett down on the worst and the best. Tim Duncan, another card who has all 99 stats, but just really has a terrible jumper and really needs a boost to it to make him, I guess, more amazing, because he's good as is, but it's just too slow at this point. Like, yeah, you're going to be able to green, it's going to be money, but no thank you. Allen Iverson is like a generous 6 foot in the game, and at this point, guys that are that short really have no reason to be in the game. They have no purpose. They're just not really going to be doing too much. So sorry, I love AI. He's one of my favorite players of all time, but this card just, it really ain't it. And last but not least is Chris Paul. I just kind of picked a random card to throw into this last spot. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I will say Chris Paul is a fun card if you like, against shorter PGs. He's 6'1". He's nice. His jumper is really easy to time and really easy to get down. But in the general scheme of things, he's definitely one of the better smaller opals. Yeah, PG, but he's definitely not one of the best ones in general. Now we're starting off our still decent tier, which is starting off with the Invincible Jordan. Now, this one was a little bit of a tough one for me to rank, but I think looking at a lot of the guys that I had in Demon, the close to endgame and the endgame PGs in general, I could not look at Jordan and go, yes, he is as good or better than some of the guys we have up there. He's got the MJ base, which is cool, still slightly slow in my opinion, but can still be fun. It's just, I don't know. I think in the grand scheme of things, Jordan is great, but they just don't have that thing that makes Jordan a next level, like, demon of a card that everybody wants. Next up is the out of position LeBron James, and same thing kind of goes here. The LeBron James jumper, I think, is one that's holding him back a little bit from being, best of the best, complete endgame. Like, how I kind of viewed these is the endgame demons are cards that I really don't see getting upgrades. I think these are the best of the best. This is what we're going to get, and they could sit on anybody's lineup till the end of the year. This out of position Jordan and LeBron, I could see a world in which we get better versions of them, where they're just better than they already are. LeBron already got 2 different versions that are better than this one, so I think that kind of proves my point a little bit with what's going on. And you never know, we could see an Invincible PG1 LeBron James like they did with the GO cards last year. Next up is the Invincible Larry Bird, another jumper that's a little bit controversial. Either you love it or you hate it, because it's a little bit on that slower end. There's some people who love the Bird jumper, like myself. I think it is absolutely amazing. It's one of the best jumpers, at least for me, timing-wise, that I've ever used. It's just smooth, it's consistent, it's easy to time, and I honestly kind of love it. I think it's just great all around, but I know there are some people who kind of hate the jumper and aren't really feeling it, so there is that. Other than that, he's got 99 every single stat, so you're not really going to find many bad points in his game, so there is that. Next up is Josh Smith, one of the best current gen PGs out there right now. Like, this guy is an absolute demon. Basically a 6'9" John Wall with absolutely insane defense is the best way I can describe this wonderful man right here. Absolutely love myself some Josh Smith, and if you're on current gen, you should make it a point to go ahead and get him because he is beautiful. Next up is the Invincible Magic Johnson, another card that I actually quite like, but if I'm looking at the grand scheme of PGs, yeah, like, he's got all 99 stats, which is going to be great. It's going to be cool, but that jumper is a little bit baited. It's not the greatest. There's definitely better jumpers out there, and that's kind of what I'm ranking it on. Because we have so many taller PGs at this point, I think Magic is definitely on the lower end of a lot of them. So I had to put him down in the pretty damn solid tier because he's good. He's an amazing PG, but he's just, in my opinion, not like top tier endgame because, I don't know, I feel like a Magic with a, Dante X and base or something like that could come out that would be insane. Next up is Dirk Nowitzki. He already got his jump shot changed this year, and it is a beautiful sight to behold. They honestly really niced this man right here. They give him jump shot 94, which is that Colin Sexton jumper, and it's money, and I think it fits Dirk really well, aside from his normal jumper. And he's obviously got the post game, he's got the height, he's got the cheesiness to do really everything. I don't think this Dirk actually has the ability to, like, speed boost or cheese or anything like that, which, and by the speed boost I mean like Curry slide and stuff like that, which is a little bit unfortunate, but the other stuff he can do, and I think he's pretty good at it, but definitely nowhere near top tier. Next up is the Tracy McGrady and DeMar DeRozan duo. Obviously, if I'm ranking it as, like, these are the endgame cards and these are not, these two are the not and have to be a little bit lower in the list. Both these cards are great, but it's a little bit outdated in terms of what we're getting in 2K nowadays, which, is cool. They're fun cards. Treyberg base is always going to be one that's actually pretty disgusting. T-Mac has Blinder, so he's a great next-gen card, and DeMar DeRozan is just an all-around great current-gen card. Both these guys are absolutely amazing and are super fun and can be great options, really, to, like, any team, to be honest. But we already obviously have the Invincible T-Mac that's a little bit better, and DeMar is just another version of T-Mac. All right, next on the list we have the beautiful Wes Unseld, who was kind of like the, I guess, the other version that you would use it like Josh Smith, We have the Kobe Bryant base, very quick, nice 6'7" guy, and traditionally, you know, Westland, so a little bit of a center. So his out of position card being at the PG kind of gives him that boost on the interior defense and all that sort of stuff. It's a great all-around card, but again, I do feel like there's a lot better, at least PGs out there, but he's still pretty great and still pretty fun. Next up, Taco Fall. I mean, if this dude wasn't 7'5", I think, honestly, we wouldn't really care too much about him, to be honest, but he's still a fun card. He can still be cool. I am personally grinding. I'm like 6-7 games away from getting this Taco Fall, and I promise you I'll be getting him very, very, very soon, as long as 2K doesn't owe me. It's a pretty great time with him. I mean, he is damn tall. He's got every single stat. He's going to be fun. I think on current gen, he's going to be a great center for a lot of people. It can be a really fun center for a lot of people, but you got to know what you're doing because he can't speed boost and curry slide like some other guys. Next up is Dwayne Wade. Obviously has the beautiful Dwayne Wade base, which everybody absolutely loves, that in base 98, and always is going to be great. I think one of the few undersized guards that every single year is going to be amazing because of the jumper just purely being that good every single year. So you know what, go Dwayne for that. And last but not least is the new Invincible Jokic that we did get today. They gave Jokic the LaMelo Ball release, which is base 38. They wanted to give him the ability to curry slide, but he's 270 pounds, so can't exactly do that. Now, can he? But it's pretty cool. I will say, the fact that they gave him the slasher takeover, or slasher dribble style, is probably the biggest L, I think, for Jokic, and really hurts any kind of movement that he could have. But overall, not a terrible center out there, but there's definitely some better options. But he's still good, obviously. He's an all-99 stat card. He's still going to be pretty nice. Now, starting off our pretty damn solid tier, we have the man, the myth, the legend, Paul George, who obviously every year is just one of those dudes that just does everything you need him to do. But one of the best 3&D cards in the game that I'm always pretty excited whenever he drops, every single time. Next up is Lonzo Ball, man, the Troy Nan guy. I absolutely love me some Lonzo cards. Every single time we get one, I am gassed. I'm gonna be honest, especially now that he has his new base. This card is amazing, one of the best defensive cards you could have in the game. Just an all-around beautiful option, to be honest. Next up is Lamar Odom, the tall man. Yeah, that PG, that's really what he is. He's a 6'10" guy, which is always going to be pretty solid for that point guard position. I personally prefer him as a small forward, but has that PG base. I'm very quick, and at 6'10" can literally do anything that you need him to do. Just a all-around beaut to be running there. To be honest, I need the position. Next up is the beautiful, the wonderful Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with jump shot 21, sorry. I'm very quick, which is great. He's got good defense, he's got good rebounding. That jumper honestly changes the game up for Kareem. If it weren't for the jumper, I don't think he'd be half as good, honestly. And Kareem with that sky hook, whenever you want to actually just immediately score, you can whip that out and have a absolutely gorgeous time. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Kevin Durant. Basically everything that the Invincible could do, but has the small forward, power forward position. KD jumper is nice, a little bit slow in my opinion, but overall everything about it is actually super solid and is super fun. But you definitely have to, I don't know, make sure you're getting real open with it. But the fact that he's 6'10" and can cheese the way that he can is always going to be great. Next up is a card that surprised the hell out of me with how good he was, and that is John Collins. This card is actually insane. Like, really is one of the craziest cards that I've used in a long while. It's just so fun. I don't know, just go out and get mixy with this John Collins. The Kobe Bryant base, I'm very quick. 6'9" at that power forward position. Honestly, it's just always just a great time, if I'm being real with you. I always have had a fun time using Collins cards, but this one is just out of this world. If you haven't picked them up and tried them out, pretty easy challenge, and will get everything done that you need them to. Next up is the wonderful Dikembe Mutombo. Again, jump shot 4. Not really a jumper that I'm kind of liking, at least most of the time. But I will say this Dikembe Mutombo actually is pretty solid with it, and the defense that you would expect to get from a Dikembe card definitely comes out and shines real nice right now, and it's always a pretty good time, I will say that. And he's like, what, 7'2", 7'1", something like that, with a massive wingspan. Dikembe, always a great card. Next up is Carmelo Anthony. I think I ranked him down here in the Demon tier just because his jumper, green window speed-wise isn't exactly the greatest. And at the 2 guard, we do have a lot of great options out there to have some fun with. So Carmelo's a great guy. I think he's super fun to go out there and have just a nice time with. And I'm a Q's boy myself, so obviously Melo cards got that little boost. But in the great scheme of things, I would definitely have some other guys at my shooting guard and at my small forward, to be honest. But he still is pretty great. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful, invincible Giannis, and I think this may be one of the boldest picks that I made in this entire list, but I don't know. The Giannis jumper just isn't one that I've actually felt consistent with this year. Compared to other years, I've actually felt, other years I could actually use the Giannis jumper. I could get it down and I could have some fun with it. But the green window on it this year just does not feel up to snuff with a lot of the other ones. Yeah, he's cool. Yeah, he's tall. He can play defense and do that sort of stuff. But there's so many other tall guys that we're getting that, I don't know, Giannis doesn't feel too special, at least for me personally. Next up is Cameron Reddish, who is basically just another version of Paul George. Has the PG jumper, very quick, he dunks, he slashes, an amazing 3-and-D guy just all around. Absolutely love him, and again, one of the few Gauntlet Spotlight cards that I really recommend that no matter who you are, you go out and get. Next up is Ben Wallace, who is an absolutely amazing card. I think he came out in the Glitched promo set, and it was a absolute beaut. That entire set was just a massive W. Ben Wallace came out as a huge winner in that. Being a power forward, I think he's one of the best cards there. Jump shot 37 on very quick is great. He can curvy slide, got that Pro 3 behind the back, and 6'9", so everybody can get cheesy with him, and his defense is out of this world. This year, Ben Wallace has been an absolutely lockdown card, and it hasn't changed at all. Love him. Definitely try him out. Awesome card, and he's pretty cheap as well. Next up is the new Brandon Roy that just dropped today. We have a gameplay out on the channel if you want to check it out. I'll link in the description down below. Although I think it's doing pretty well right now, which is awesome. All around, a great card. That trade break base is absolutely beautiful. It works every single time. And again, the way that I said it in my video was that I view him as like a near invincible T-Mac with the PG position, which is always going to be a great time. Starting off the Baby Demon tier. Or I call it the Baby Demon tier. That's what it usually is. The close to end game tier. These are the cards where I think they're almost there, but just not quite. Like some slight differences that I think knock them down compared to some other ones. And starting that off is the Invincible Tracy McGrady we were just talking about. Trade break base, all 99 stats, and he has that small forward shooting guard position. And the reason that I put this T-Mac down in a close to end game is because I do think, because it happened last year, that we may get a glitched T-Mac or something like that will get the PG position. They've been a big fan of copying some things from last year, like a PG Lamar Odom. So I do think we may see a point guard Tracy at some point, which would be just a little bit better because obviously T-Mac at point guard is godly. Next up is the man, the myth, the legend, the dentist Terry. That Rudy Gay base is just absolutely beautiful, and you mix it with just otherworldly defense, and it's amazing. This Terry, I think, is one of my favorite cards, honestly, to just go out there, have fun with, and use literally all the time. He's like almost always on my squad. I just love him. I use him as a backup option. That Rudy Gay jumper, literally, there's almost nothing better. Love me some Rudy Gay. Rudy Gay jumper. Next up is, again, a card that I've said it a few times. I did not even know was in the game until I just ran up to somebody that was playing with him, and it is actually kind of insane. Mohamed Bamba has, I think, jump shot 109, that Jaren Jackson jumper, and it's on a pretty decent timing, I will say. But it's actually a pretty fun card all around. You can speed boost, you can curry slide, all that sort of stuff, which was kind of surprising to do myself, but it's actually pretty nice, and you can kind of, I don't know, get some of the Bol vibes when using Mo Bamba, which I never thought would happen, but you know what? It is a great card that I think a lot of people are overlooking right now and should at least give it a bit of a shot. Next up is LaMelo Ball. We talked about him a little bit earlier for that absolutely beautiful jumper. Jump shot 39 on very quick. It is great. He's a 6'8" point guard. He's got defense. He's got finishing. He has a beautiful jumper. There's really nothing wrong with LaMelo. I just don't think 38 is as good as it was last year. So I just don't feel like he's endgame. At this point, we need, 98 base, 29 maybe for some of them. The Ray Allen base this year, it's just absolutely insane. The Curry jumper, those kind of things are what would knock him up. 38 is good, just not what it was. Next up is Invincible Kobe. I kind of view Invincible Kobe, T-Mac, Terry, all in that kind of same level where they're absolutely amazing cards that have awesome jumpers and they're just great, shooting guards to run with. But, I could pick out a better option or two, going out and having some fun. So overall, I like them. I think they're cool, but there are some better, I think, two-guard options out there. Although, I always love me a good old 99 stat Kobe like we got last year. Next up is the Galaxy Opal Jonathan Isaac, one of the best Galaxy Opals that we've really ever gotten a 2K game. Jump shot 70 and some of the best defense that a card has ever had. Like this dude goes crazy on the defensive end, and you will see a newer version of him popping up a little bit later. That is out of this world, man. Next up is Jason Tatum, has one of the best green window jumpers in the game with jump shot 107. It is a beautiful, gorgeous thing. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous thing to behold, that Jason Tatum jumper. Plus, he's got some good height to play that small forward and the power forward really well. Overall, real good option. But again, I don't know. To me, this Tatum just doesn't feel endgame. He feels good, but I don't know. It just doesn't jump out to me as like anything out of this world or endgame, I guess, worthy. Next up is the wonderful Antoine Jameson. Has the Dante X and base on very quick. Is I think a 6'8" frame, small forward, power forward, which is great. And any card that has that Dante X and base always gets shot off the list. I know everybody kind of loves that jumper, and for good reason. It is so easy to time, and all around this Jameson is just an absolute cheese ball. And I think they picked a good jumper to replace base 11 with him. Next up is the gorgeous Ben Simmons, a 6'10" demon that everybody kind of either loves using or hates going against, and I'm on the hates going against, I guess, section of that. He's a 6'10" PG with an absolutely money, easy to time jumper, just like the Dante X and base, which is always going to be great. And it's just an all-around good card, man. I guess the defensive ability that a Ben Simmons brings, being so tall, being so versatile, always is what helps him be such a great point guard, and it's no different this year than it has been in previous years. Ben Simmons, he's a god. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Kawhi Leonard. I'm kind of surprised we didn't get an invincible version of Kawhi because, I don't know, kind of expected it, maybe a Raptors version for his championship. Who knows? But the Ray Allen base this year is one of the best jumpers in the entire game. It is, I think, tied for one of the fastest jumpers, at least that's been tested in the game, and it is absolutely godly. It is one of the best jumpers off catch, even off dribble. It can be absolutely amazing, and Kawhi uses it to the best of his ability. Absolutely love it. I know a lot of people who use this Kawhi have a blast with this Kawhi, and maybe a little bit upset that he's not an endgame demon because he is that good. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Kevin Durant, who I've ranked above his Pantheon Team USA, just for the sole reason that I think the shooting guard position is 10 times better on KD, and that's really purely it. I think both of these are nearly the exact same cards, but the fact that I can go ahead and use this, KD at the shooting guard instead, really changes the game for him. It makes him 10 times better than I think you would expect him to be. So if you don't agree with that and you want them to be on the same tier, I get it, I understand it. But for me, I think that shooting guard nudges him up just a little bit to be close to endgame. I think the endgame KD would be a PG position one, which I do think, probably will come at some point throughout the game. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful, the invincible Penny Hardaway that we also did get today at the time of recording it. He is a 6'7" point guard with jump shot 78 on very quick and literally does everything beautifully. This Penny Hardaway is a great card. I think he's actually stupid expensive right now, but he's got a 6'10" wingspan. The tendencies on this Penny Hardaway are fixed and they are absolutely amazing. The only badges that he's missing that I wish he kind of had are Steady Shooter, because I am on next gen and I like blinders, and Moving Truck, which is honestly some good things to be missing because everything else is Hall of Famer gold, and he's just a great card all around. Good PG, great all around, but I just don't think that, I don't know, his jump shot 75 is one of those like end game kind of jumpers. I think, again, I'd save those for some other guys, which we'll see in the end game demon tier, which we'll start off right now with Shaquille O'Neal. You give Shaq one of the best jumpers in the game with Delino Gallinari, and it only can equal good things. I mean, let's be honest, I don't think anybody was expecting the invincible Shaq to get the jumper that he did, and now that he's got it, Lord have mercy, this is one of the best centers in the entire game, and maybe one of the best Shaq cards that we have ever received. It is just absolutely insane. You miss like 7'1" guy with his player build, with his defense, with his quickness, and then let him shoot from deep with one of the better jumpers in the game. It's crazy. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Luka Doncic. Honestly, I would say that this Luka is probably the best PG in the game. I know there's a lot of other cards who are up there in competition with him, but in my honest opinion, this Luka Doncic is really the only PG that I'm really looking to use. Like guys like Lonzo, LaMelo are all amazing point guards. Ben Simmons, amazing point guard. But the Dante X and base, with just the all-around ability that Luka has, is out of this world, and I really do not see myself ever replacing him for the rest of the year. He's that good. And I think it's the reason why a lot of the newer PGs are going so far down in value, because everybody's just content with having Luka. Next up are two LeBrons that I'll show at the exact same time in the Pantheon All-Star and the normal Invincible LeBron James. For some people, they might see that I ranked KD here and the other one down here as a bit different, but I think honestly that just having the Dante X and base makes the LeBron card 10 times better, and I think the reason his out of position isn't as good is because he just has a LeBron jumper. You put the wonderful Dante Exum base on this LeBron James. Instantly is an endgame card. I think he's absolutely insane. I do think that this is probably the last PG LeBron that we'll get. I don't think we see another one. I don't know. I don't think it's happening. It could, and if it does, awesome. But both these guys are insane, and I do prefer the shooting guard one just a little bit more personally. But again, that's just, I guess, personal preference, we'll say. Next up is the wonderful, the beautiful Kristaps Porzingis. I mean, if you like a Bol, you will love this Porzingis. Just one of the best cards you could possibly expect to have out here. He is absolutely amazing and is just godly, man. Brook Lopez base. He can curry slide. He can cheese. He can do everything that you want out there, and it is beautiful. I honestly wish I had the MT to go ahead and pick up this Porzingis, but I got some alternatives. He's just amazing. If you are on next gen and you want a guy to just come in and completely take over the game, Porzingis is it. Next up is arguably the best card that dropped from the Pantheon or Gauntlet All-Star Spotlight Sims, which is this James Wiseman, man. 7'1", the Steph Curry jumper, one of the best jumpers in the game, has absolutely out of this world defense, and then you mix that with the ability to curry slide and just get cheesy as if he's a point guard, and there really aren't too many better cards in general in the game. And he basically already is an invincible. This James Wiseman is a god, and I think anybody that has him can tell you exactly that. This dude is just legit. Honestly, he is legit. Next up is the PG Giannis, and that's why I didn't want to put the invincible all the way up, the invincible all the way up here, because I think that this PG Giannis is significantly better because he can play the point guard position, and that's really, I guess, the only reasoning that I have for that. They're basically the exact same card, minus some slight, badge differences here and there. But the fact that this one can play BG and shooting guard and completely take over the game, I think it makes him 10 times better, personally. Next up is David Robinson, another card who I think is in there as for the competition of being one of the best cards in the game. You mix that David Robinson base with just all 99 stats, and again, only good things can happen to it. It is just beautiful, and I recommend to anybody that is thinking about it, go ahead and try out this D-Robin. Man, oh man, you won't regret it. Next up is my favorite card literally in the entire game, and that is this Dark Matter Invincible Bull. This card has he's changed my life. Honestly, there is not a single time I've ever am playing again where I do not have this Bull on my lineup. He just does every single thing good. He's got that Brook Lopez base. He curvy slides. He gets insane speed boosts on anything that I possibly want him to. The defensive versatility that he brings is just out of this world. In my opinion, the best small forward in the game, and I really do not see a future in which he is not on my lineup in some capacity because he's one of the best cards that 2K has ever dropped. Next up is Bill Russell, the man, the myth, the legend. They gave him the ability to curry slide, which obviously is gorgeous already, but then you mix that with the ability to have the Ray Allen jump shot base, one of the fastest in the game, with the amazing defense, the curry sliding, everything like that. This card is unreal and easily is an end game. We probably won't get a better Bill, and if we do, it'll probably be like a small forward, which I don't think will be that big of a deal, but who knows. Next up is Andre Karolinko, the gorgeous 6'9", base 98 point guard who I think everybody would love to have on their team. Plus, the defensive versatility that Andre Karolinko brings on your team is amazing. Having a 6'9" PG that can do what he can do is unreal, and the amount of times that he's come out here and given me problems is wild, to say the least. And last but not least is one of the new cards that we got today in Jonathan Isaac. One of the cards that I don't think they'll repeat and give us a PG, so I'm going to call it right here. This Jonathan Isaac is endgame, and he is unreal. This Jonathan Isaac, I think, should be the big ticket card today. Penny Hardaway is good. Nikola Jokic, good. But Jonathan Isaac is great. Like, he's great. This card is unreal. You mix that jump shot 70 on very quick with the 6'11" frame, his 7'2" wingspan, having literally every single defensive badge on Hall of Fame with his just pure, I guess, cheesiness, and it is out of this world. He's basically Giannis with a significantly better jumper, and it does not get any better than that. If you need a power forward, small forward that's going to be great for you, pick up this Jonathan Isaac. He's actually, I was checking the prices while you heard the knock on my controller. He's actually a little bit above 100K, and you are getting your value with this Jonathan Isaac. Pick him up, try him out, and I promise you, you will not regret it. So that's what we have for the best cards tier list. Let me know what you guys think about it down in the comment section below. Are there some cards that I should have added here that you guys think it's just blasphemous that I didn't include on the list? Are there some guys that are out here that are too low? Maybe, the Giannis. I know a lot of people don't agree, might not agree with that one. Or are there some guys that are too high that you want to bring down a little bit? Maybe you don't think Jonathan Isaac's should be down there. You don't think it's a difference? Let me know that down in the comment section below. Make sure you like the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you are new. We are very, very close to the 10K subscriber mark, so please hit that subscribe button if you can. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.